Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer, and I met many of you last week when I conducted the MedQAs for your agency. And I wanted to provide this training today to address some of the documentation errors and med errors that I saw when I was there. And a lot of this is going to be just reminders for you, but hopefully after this video, you'll be able to put it into practice, make sure that all of the documentation for medications are complete and accurate. And if there is a med error, that you know how to report it. So I am going to share my screen and hopefully you all will see what I see. All right, it says screen sharing. So again, this training is over documentation and med error training. One of the things that I want to remind you of are when you're giving a medication, make sure that you know why the medication is being given and what the expected result is. What are the potential side effects and the precautions to take? Knowing these two things helps you with the next thing I'm going to talk about, and that's the 6 rights of medication delivery. And if you remember from your training, a lot of people use the Dr. Tim method. And that's just making sure it's the right dose, the right route, the right time, and the right date, the right individual, the right medication, and the making sure that you document. When you give the medication, make sure to stay with the individual until the individual has taken the medication and make sure that it is followed. Excuse me. And the reason I emphasize this is many times we'll find med errors where people have written that an individual had a pill in their bed or they found a pill on the floor. So you do want to make sure that the medication was swallowed. Document medication as soon as the medication is given. A lot of people make the mistake of waiting till the end of their shift. And although I know how busy everyone is, it is so important to make sure that you document the medication as soon as it was given. And to make sure that it's being documented by the person who prepared the medication. Never give pills from a pill minder or MediSet unless it is specifically indicated in the MyPlan. And you're going to follow the procedure that was taught in the Certification 1 course for the medication administration. That's the 14-hour course that you all took. When you give medications from the container, make sure it has an intact pharmacy label if it is a prescription drug, and that it has a manufacturer's intact label if it is an over-the-counter drug or non-prescription. If you're giving the first dose of a new medication, closely observe the individual for 20 minutes or so, and we're watching for any adverse reaction. And then you want to ensure that you've had individual specific training. Before you give or apply medication or perform any health-related activity to an individual, you must receive individual specific training on that individual. Okay. Now we're going to talk a little bit about PRN medications that are ordered for the client, and they do need to be placed on the MAR. It's the exact medication, the exact dose, route, date, time, reason, and the initials of the person who gave that medication. Most people have a place on the back of the MAR where you can include that information. Usually about 30 to 60 minutes after the PRN medication is given, you want to go back and document the effectiveness of the medication. If you gave a cough medication, did it relieve the cough? If it didn't, make sure you document that. Same thing with, pain medication or ibuprofen, Tylenol. If it was for a fever, did the fever resolve? Did the pain resolve? Whatever the reason was that you gave that PRN, make sure to go back and document if it was effective or not. Certified staff need to be sure to document all medications administered, as well as all health-related activities and tasks completed. There will be variations from your employer on how to complete an unusual incident report. Communicating to appropriate individuals and agencies. Identification of personnel making entries in the medication record. Are you signing the MAR and putting your initials on there? Documentation of medication administration shall be done according to the employer's policy, but keep in mind the medication record is a legal document. Please do not use whiteout or correction fluid. Do not erase. If you make a mistake, simply put one straight line through the mistake, and you can write error or void, and then place your initials underneath where the correct documentation should be. And then write the correct entry. Never document for anyone else, and never leave a blank space for late entries. One of the things I want to ensure here that you hear me say is that everyone works together for the individual. If you notice that when you go to pass medications, the person who passed medications before you did not initial the medications or document that they were given, it is important that you notify someone right then. If you cannot verify that the medication was given, or you find the pack still in the closet or drawer that was supposed to be given, that is a medication error, and you need to document that right away. And again, your agency will have a policy that you should follow for reporting. Some of the reasons for medication errors are giving the wrong medicine, giving the medication at the wrong time, to the wrong person, by the wrong route, or giving the incorrect dose of the medication, giving expired or outdated medication, giving medication that was improperly stored, giving the medication without a physician order, omitting a medication, or improper documentation. Those are all reasons that medication errors are done. Another reason, or some more reasons for medication errors, are reading the label incorrectly, not waiting for the client to swallow the medication, not documenting immediately that a medication was given, error in transcription from the dispensing label to the MAR, inaccurate transcribing of a verbal order onto the MAR, incorrect documentation of medication given, multitasking while setting up medication, not giving the task your full attention, environmental distractions, noise, talking to others while you're trying to set up a cluttered work area. When you give medications, make sure you have everything in front of you that you need. If you need gloves, make sure you have the medication book or the MAR, and a pen, so that you're not having to get up in the middle of administering meds. Be aware of your distractions. If you miss giving a medication in the correct time frame, remembering we have an hour before or an hour after, report and document according to your employer's policy. For any medication, when a dose is missed, use the pharmacy information sheet or call the pharmacy to see if it's still okay to administer that dose. Be sure to document who you spoke to at the pharmacy and the date and the time. Document any instructions that were given by the pharmacist. Call the delegating nurse if applicable, and always complete a UI report and give this report to your supervisor per your agency policy. Documentation errors. Initialing in the wrong space, the time and date, and the medication on the MAR is a documentation error. That is a medication error and can lead to additional medication errors. Follow your employee's instructions for correcting this type of error. And if at all possible, have the person making the error corrected immediately. Preventative measures to reduce medication errors include documenting medications as soon as they are given. More training, education of staff certified to give medications. Hopefully, this reminder training will be helpful. Reevaluation of employers or DoDD policies and procedures. Speak to your supervisor. If you have ideas for a policy or procedure, make sure that they know what that is. Review of corrective actions to be implemented or followed. Every UI, every MUI requires a preventative measure. So in summary, it is the responsibility of the entire team to ensure medications are given and documented correctly. If you notice the medications from the previous shift were not documented, it is your responsibility to report it to your supervisor and to complete a UI report. Failure to report is an MUI. Incorrect medication administration and documentation can lead to serious harm or even deadly consequences to the individual. Pay attention and use the skills you were taught to prevent errors from occurring. So hopefully that was helpful for you all. I do have something else I want to share with you. This was a training video made several years ago, actually not that long ago, in response to a very serious incident. So I'm going to get that started and see how we can. Sorry, guys. I'm going to make sure that I get this video on here.
I'm the mother of 3 boys, and Alex is my youngest son. Alex died October 24th of 2013, and I'm here to share his story in hopes to make a difference in the lives of other people.
Alex probably stands out, maybe easier to spot than a lot of the clients in a typical ICFMR. It was easy to be the favorite because he was funny.
Alex was an amazing young man. He had tons of friends, very, very popular. He could walk into a room and it lit up.
Alex was developmentally handicapped, never learned to read or write, but he had a big, bright, beautiful spirit. He loved theater, he loved music, he loved musicals, he loved camp, he loved people. Alex never knew a stranger.
Alex was a rare kid, and you're not supposed to have favorites, but Alex has always been my favorite.
He was a lot of fun. He was one of those faces that was always super animated, whether it was super sad, super angry, super happy. His face just was lit up with his emotion.
Alex moved into a group home and for 14 months did fantastic. He would see family 3 times a week. He'd go to church with me at Mount Auburn Presbyterian Church. He loved to listen to the choir. His dad would pick him up and take him out to dinner and then take him to Melodic Connections, where he sang in Sing Like a Rock Star musical group. His brother David would pick him up every week and take him to Skyline Chili. So Alex had a really big life and was maturing in a way that he hadn't when he was with us at home.
So I kissed him on his head, said, "Love you, butthead," and walked out. It's the best time I ever seen.
On October 24th, I got a phone call that Alex died. For 6 months, we didn't really know what had happened. And I lived with the belief for 6 months that it was natural causes. And 6 months later, we received, the autopsy report said that he died because he had been given 10 medications that weren't his own.
When these very powerful psychoactive and seizure medicines are given to the wrong people or given in the wrong doses, they can be very harmful, and in fact, they can be lethal.
If Alex didn't get your attention to do your job right, nothing will. All the people you care for, each and every one of them, the easy ones, the hard ones, the funny ones, the cute ones, the one that bit you or slapped you last week, they need your best.
Please be diligent and please be aware, because our children's lives are in your hands.
I don't show you that video to intimidate you or to scare you. What I want to do is to remind you how important it is to get this right. Documentation is one of the most important things that you can do after you have ensured that the medication was given. So with that said, I hope this has been helpful. I'm always available to consult, or if you have questions, please don't hesitate to call myself or one of the other QA nurses. You can call the main number at 794-3300 and ask for one of the QA nurses. All right. Thanks for all you do. It is appreciated, and we know how hard you work. Thank you.